Hello, folks. Liberty Garden, March 23rd. The day, 2 days after spring. Yes. It's been a very, very strange day. It was forecasted, but nonetheless, this is the kind of days that you can expect tornadic storms to break all over the place. We haven't had any here, no warnings or anything, but the day's not over, and apparently tomorrow's also going to be a little bit iffy. But hopefully we don't get any tornadoes or nobody else does because these things they kill a lot of people. Anyway, folks, a couple of things about the garden. I got my seedlings in here. I'll be transplanting some of those tomorrow to these little cups from Walmart, styrofoam cups. And I don't know, you can see it there. Those are my sweet potatoes in water. They're starting to take out roots, and I'll be getting some shoots from there to plant as well. Um, I did some weed whacking today. A lot of overgrown crap here. These beds are all. I've let go all these beds, but I'll be cleaning them tomorrow and planting some stuff in them directly into them. The keyhole garden, I haven't planted anything into it. I probably will be planting some of the sweet potatoes here, or maybe some more potatoes. I will follow Uncle Al's advice of planting more starches and potatoes. So far, mostly I've always planted lettuces and stuff because I like to eat nice salads. But I should also focus on some starches. Now, this is for my friend Hoopelscat, my favorite liberal on YouTube. Believe me, Hoopels, you're the only liberal I subscribe to because you're cool and your music on your videos is pretty good. Okay, this tree here, that's a kefir pear. Okay, self-fruitful. I know Uncle Al gave some shit for not putting some copper crap on your pear trees. I believe that copper thing that Uncle Al was suggesting was to avoid uh, what's called some kind of rust blight. I think some kind of blight that goes on apple and pear trees. The kefir pear is very resistant to that. Basically, if you live in an area where there's junipers, where they get that reddish rust on their leaves, it comes across to apple trees and pear trees. And our neighborhood, they have a lot of those things here, and this one hasn't caught anything. And this pear is not the most delicious pear in the world, but it comes late in the season. It's real hardy. Even the birds don't pick it too much because it's real hard. Really, you got to cut it and you have to eat it like 2 weeks later. You gotta let it sit in the counter for about a week or so for it to soften up a little. But it's good for cooking, and it's got a lot of sugar, a lot of starches. So for calorie wise, if that's what you're after, that's a good treat to have. The other thing, okay, let's see what I have in front here. I know we're having a nasty storm in February because that's when my plum trees start putting out flowers, and sure enough, a couple of days later we get a nice storm. But this time we did get a storm, but it wasn't ice; it was just cold. And my plum tree, this one did not lose its flowers, so hopefully I'll get a good harvest out of this one. It was loaded with white flowers, and it looked real nice. This one I pruned quite a bit last year because it got a wind cut it, broke it here. So I just cut it and I pruned it quite a bit. But it's an 8 year old tree, so it has a lot of energy. And this one also had a lot of flowers. So calorie wise, out of this tree, I'm getting about a good 30 pounds of plums. Most of them are eaten by the birds and the pests and stuff like that. Out of the pear tree, I've been getting this real young tree. This is only about 4 years, 3 years maybe here in my backyard. It was a little whip that I got from Walmart. They were throwing it away basically, and I got it for about $5 or $10. I don't remember. And I planted it, and it took off like crazy. Now this is not one of those trees that is a hybrid that only grows a dwarf. Any of those. This is a full-grown tree. So this is going to put out a lot. I've been getting about 50 or 60 pairs a year on this one, but this is a really young tree. This peach tree, I also pruned it severely, but on any good year, it'll give me about 30 pounds of fruit, more or less. Uh, this fig bush here, this is getting big. I had to prune it quite a bit last year because it was getting too close to the tree, and I don't like any vectors for rodents to get into my roof. So I pruned it. That also produces a lot of figs. And this one here, not as many, but it does produce some figs, but it's blooming nicely. Here's an apple tree that I have yet to see an apple on it. I've seen a couple apples, but not many. And this is a nectarine. Now this is also a full-grown nectarine. This is not a dwarf nectarine. And nectarines, if you want calories on your property, get nectarines. These things just like freaking produce like crazy. Sorry for the light, guys. And this tree I also pruned it severely this weekend, the last year, because it was putting out. It had a lot of branches towards the fence, and I was seeing rats kind of use it as a highway. So that's the issue with the fruit trees. Rats like them. Um, anyway, talking about kale here. Look at my kale. It's so beautiful. Yeah. But anyway, if you want to go for calories, go for fruit trees and nut trees. That's your biggest bang for your buck. Followed by sweet potatoes, potatoes, etc. But obviously the trees are trees that are last you a lifetime, and and they're very very good for calorie output. If your space is limited, or you have much place to garden. Uh, okay, changing topics a bit. I went to a store named Aldi. I don't really go to the store because I don't like the way you gotta put your stuff in your own groceries in a bag and everything like that. But anyway, it's a pretty neat store. I went in there, a lot of good stuff, and I got some coffee. Look at this instant coffee. I haven't had instant coffee in ages. I use a drip coffee, or I grind my coffee and I run it through a drip coffee maker. But this one was $2.40. Okay, German coffee. Well, it says packaged in Germany. I'm assuming it's from Germany. I'm not sure. Who knows where it's come? Might be from another place. But instant coffee, 120 cups, $2.40. So it's basically 2 pennies a cup. Not bad, huh? Think about it, guys. Think about it. What could you trade this for? Could you trade this for? These things are a luxury. This and maybe a little box of cookies will probably get you something good. Maybe get you some bullets in exchange. I don't know. And I was in Walmart. It must have been my lucky day because I saw this buck knife, one of the Made in America knives still left, and I thought it was the longer knife, the fixed blade, but it ended up being. I'll show you. It ended up being a buck 110 folding knife, and normally the price on these things at Walmart is like $37, and I don't know why they had it for 25. This one, the only reason, the only thing I can see why they had it for $25 is because it comes in a leather sheath, and it is a full leather sheath. It's a beautiful little knife. I love these bucks. I think Uncle has one of these with a. Look at this. It's a buck 110, made in America, and the sheath is made in Mexico, and this is buck 110 right there, and this is made in Mexico, which Mexico does very good leather work. There you go. And you carry it on your belt, old school. You don't see this kind of knife carrying style anymore. Most knives now have a clip and this and that. Now this is nice, old school. And for being old and dated, they had it for $25 instead of $37. So even though I have another buck just like it in my drawer that I never use, I went ahead and got this one because I don't know, something about buck knives and the Made in America stamp on them that I like a lot. But anyway, folks, I think it's getting dark, and I just thought I'd crank out a little video today. I didn't go to the farm. It was, well, the weather, never know what you can get with this crazy ass weather. Look at those clouds. They're just moving. They're there. It is really, really funky weather. I mean, this kind of weather worries me. I mean, if you live in Tornado Alley, this is the kind of weather that worries you. Because at any moment, it just gets nasty. I got some little onions right there. I planted these about 3 weeks ago. Planted a few onions here and there. But that's it. I'm going to start planting stuff tomorrow. Some of it will go directly into the ground. Some of it is going to be transplanted still into bigger containers. And I'm still going to pamper it inside the house and outside the house until they get a little stronger. Here's a little asparagus. Look at that little boy right there. I don't even know. I mean, what, you cut these and eat them? I guess that's what happens. I don't know if I cut it and I eat it, if I kill the plant or what, but I've had these little asparagus here come out every year for about 3 years now. And I've never eaten one yet. Anyway, folks, until next time, and stay safe. Bye-bye.